Hello everybody, Prowl here, and I have some crazy good news and information here for you about Reforj. I have dug through their entire Discord channel through the question section and the recommendations, and I have found a ton of hidden information that has not been publicly announced to everybody by Reforj about the game. We're talking combat systems, we're talking like tool upgrading, we're talking the aura system, we're talking about being able to farm things in the game, we're talking about something akin to redstone. There's so many amazing pieces of information I've found that they have not like officially put out everywhere and that a lot of people don't know about. So rather than you having to go through their Discord yourself and look through everything yourself, I've done it for you. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm doing news and information now. Once I get access to the game, I'll be able to do even more of that. Bring you guys gameplay live on stream here on the channel and on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Prowl8413. We'll also do guides, tutorials when there's stuff to do tutorials on, maybe even a Let's Play series. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but let me know down in the comments below if you would like to see such a thing. And make sure you have those notifications turned on. That way you don't miss any new information, because I will give it to you guys as soon as I can, as soon as it comes out. This isn't going to be a graphical pop-up on screen type video because there's just not a lot of like visual stuff to show you about Reforj quite yet. Excuse me if it's a little bland from that perspective, but the content and stuff we're going to talk about is incredibly good. So I wanted to bring this to you guys, especially those of you that just want to figure out any little thing you can about Reforj, and if it's going to be a game that you think you're going to enjoy. And I think the answer is yes, based off of a lot of these things I've seen. So let's go ahead and hop in. We're just going to go through my OneNote list here that I've put together. So first, I just want to go over some like settings and option like based information, stuff I would put in that category that I found. One just had to do with hardcore mode. They have not been working on a hardcore mode, but they are definitely considering it if there's any sort of demand. So I would say if a hardcore mode is something that you would like, I know I would like it. And I think it would be almost a must in a game like this. Definitely let them know in their Discord channel by going to posts like this one. You could type it in, the link if you want to, it'll take you to it, and upvoting the different things that you like. This will kind of go for everything that I talk about. So moving on to like more general game settings, one was asked about character customization. There's nothing that is available as of the upcoming like pre-alpha test, but it sounds like they have been working on something here. Joe said, yep, but not when the Pioneer program first launches. So there will be some level of characters customization coming soon. The next one down here, somebody was asking about like a tutorial style system, and they said it is something they've been working on. I think they specifically asked about like a tutorial world, and it sounds like they're going to implement something in the early game that will like kind of tell you what the buttons to press, what to do, and maybe get more advanced as time goes on. And then lastly was the perspective. I think screenshots we've seen so far and like gameplay and stuff, it's all been third person. So somebody asked if it was going to be first person as well. They do have a toggle between the two, but it sounds like they don't have a priority in terms of which of the two they like better or they want to hard focus on. I don't know if it's possible for them to just give us both natively really well, but I would prefer that. But if I were to pick first person or third person, I know a lot of us that play Minecraft love first person, but I would probably lean a little bit more towards third person, because then I get to see my character, especially if we get to customize it a lot. That's one thing I don't like about Minecraft a lot, is I don't get to see myself very often. I get to see the armor trim and the way my character looks. So I think I would kind of like that a little bit more, but you know, I could go either way. And it's definitely something that they have both options available now and that they'll probably tweak as time goes on. Next, let's hop into game mechanics. I have a kind of like general list that I didn't really have categories for, and then I have some very interesting specific categories as well. So let's go through the general stuff first. So first of all, this one's about food. Food does currently heal the player, and they are going to add in some sort of hunger type system in the future, but they haven't really decided much about this yet. It hasn't been added in. It's just something that's on their list of like to do. And also another game mechanic type thing that they talked about here. Well, he mentioned a cloud system, Joe did, but more importantly, he mentioned a weather system in the game. Now, who knows if this weather system is just very basic, rain and snow, and it's only visual, or if it will have any type of gameplay type implications. I know this is a touchy subject because some people would love the immersiveness of weather that can affect gameplay. And some people don't want a tornado coming through and destroying their stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be an interesting balance here to strike, but they do have a weather type system that they had put in the game previously, and they've removed it for now. For those wondering about PvP, there will be PvP in the game. We don't have a lot of information on that. Maybe there's a little bit more in the combat section. I don't remember what I have there, but you can fight other players if you choose to. Another thing, this is more of a technical detail, but it's an important one to anybody that does any like technical Minecraft stuff. Somebody asked about simulation distance, and specifically, does the whole world get simulated? Like when you load into a world, is the whole thing running all the time? And it's something that they've discussed, but they don't really have any like solid information on it. They kind of want to, I guess, hear what people have to say about it, and they probably want to see how the game performs under different situations and as they add stuff to the game. I imagine right now they could probably simulate the whole world pretty easily because there's not a lot there. But as they start to add in some of these later systems that we're going to talk about, I imagine that that could change. So that's why they don't have any solid information currently. And the last one was just a question about fishing. I love fishing in games. It's fun. It's a relaxing activity, especially if you get like decent rewards from it. It's not something that they've like considered adding in at this time, but they've noted that it's something that people want. And if enough people want it, maybe it'll get added in, but it's not there right now. And this is the only little bit I could find about combat so far. And it stemmed from a post about the Tunneler Scout, like rolling and then like hitting a block. Like the player placed the block and he ran into the block and it kind of like stunned him. So basically what they're saying is that they want combat to be interesting in some way. They don't want people to just be able to cheese everything. They don't want you to trivialize the game by pillaring up 2 or 3 blocks and then just like spam hitting the mob below you. So again, no real like big information about what that's going to look like yet, but it is something that they're thinking about in depth. The game doesn't seem like it'll have a such simple system to it to where you can just spam click kill everything without really thinking about it. All right, so next is a system called Aura. Again, this is something that if you're in their Discord, you'll know about, but if you're not, then you won't know anything about this system because they haven't really said anything about it in any of their videos, or if they did, it was like a passing mention. It wasn't anything big that I saw. Here they're talking about like they do want to have mechanical systems, but not necessarily electricity. So people kind of refer to redstone as electricity. Aura is, I would make it more akin to like magic in a way. So I like that idea that there's going to be these advanced systems in the game, but it's not just going to be mechanical like what we know with Minecraft. It's going to be their own thing. They're going to have their own way of doing it that's going to probably have some pretty interesting outcomes. And speaking of that, if we go up here, somebody asked about hydraulics specifically. Joe was just confirming that no, what we mean is like a water container. I would assume that's like a bucket of water, for example. Aura will have other things that it does in the game, not just power machines. So Aura, I think, is this thing that you can like, I don't know if it's you get it from like just killing mobs and stuff, or maybe there's other ways to get it and farm it as well. But as you get more aura, certain mobs, hostile mobs, will be more aggressive to you, to the player that has the most aura. So like if you're playing with multiple people and you have more aura than your buddy, those hostile mobs might attack you first, or maybe mobs that would be a little bit more neutral. If you have a lot of aura, could become more hostile to you, or maybe they have different attacks, or maybe their aggression like radius is larger. It's hard to say exactly how that's going to be, but one thing that it won't do, I guess, is it won't affect difficult. So maybe they won't have like different moves and attacks and stuff they do. They won't be harder. It may just affect their behavior a little bit, it sounds like. Also, this person asked if you fuel the portals, the gateways that I talked about in my intro video to the game, do you fuel gateways with aura? And the answer to that was just a straight yes. So I don't know if that means you light it once and that's it, it's open, or if you have to like fuel it or consume aura every time you open the gateway. If certain customizations to gateways cost more aura than others, it's kind of hard to know exactly how it's going to work out, but there will be some type of interaction there. And then here is just another thing confirming aura will be used to power devices and machinery. So it's more like your power source. The more aura you have, the more certain hostile mobs will be attracted to you. So that was kind of confirmed again there. But it seems to be very much your power source. So I don't know if there's going to be I guess just speculating again, are we going to have a way to like accumulate this aura into some type of a container, like a power supply type thing, or are we going to have to only generate it on demand? Thinking of things like create mod in Minecraft or something like that. Be interesting to see how they incorporate this in. So here's the only thing I could find about tools and equipment so far. Somebody had asked about tools because if you've seen any of the gameplay footage so far, you've always seen them just kind of the player hand does everything. And that's just because they haven't implemented tools yet. That's not because that's how it's going to actually work in a game. So we don't know what these tools are going to look like, but the person asked, they made reference to like a pickaxe and axe and shovel, like the basic mechanical tools that we're used to right now, physical tools we're used to right now. And they're going to be more advanced than the basic tools that were mentioned by the original poster. But here's the interesting part. The game will be more focused on upgrading and modifying your tools. So you could think of that as, oh, okay, well, I go from iron to diamond and diamond to like, I think they mean more than that. And modifying your tools would it at the very least make you think of some type of an enchantment type system where you can make your tools better, but maybe in a little bit different way. Maybe it's done differently than just find an enchanted book and add it on, but through some other game mechanic like mob drop type means. So I'm interested to hear more about that when we get to that point. And last is transportation. If you've seen the videos, you've already seen the wingsuit. I don't remember if you get that upon starting the world or if it's just something you can obtain very early, but I know at the very least it's a very early thing to get. Somebody asked about like fast travel, quick travel. I think like waypoints or teleportation of some type. They're not open to doing that type of travel. And I think that makes sense because the worlds are limited in size. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. The worlds are about 4,000 by 4,000 blocks as of right now. So I don't know that you would need that type of quick travel system on a world of that size that has other good systems. And then also you have gateways that can take you to other worlds that are connected to your world. So that in itself is a kind of form of quick travel as well. Somebody also asked about like being able to have like multiple spawn points. They said they're not really open to that because they don't want players to kill themselves to just like move around the world. So it looks like it'll kind of work like Minecraft, where you sleep in a bed or you like set a spawn point and then that is your one point that you would return to. Also, somebody else asked, will there be other forms of transportation outside of the wingsuit? The answer was a hard yes. So we don't know what those will be. Will there be some type of vehicle akin to a mine cart? Will there be some type of boat type system to get across large water? I would assume probably so. Can you ride mobs that you tame? I would think probably so. No specific examples were given here by Joe, but we just know that there will definitely be additional forms of travel outside of the wingsuit by foot. Let's like breeze through really quick some technical information. I'm not going to go over these in detail, but I just want you guys to know, no, Reforj will not be coming to mobile. There are no plans for it at all right now. It's not being designed for mobile. And in fact, it is being designed specifically for current generation consoles as the baseline. So you will not have it on your last generation series of Xbox or PlayStation 4 or the Nintendo Switch. It will specifically be for Xbox Series X/S, PS5, and above, and PC, of course, as well. Somebody asked about the Switch 2. There are no current plans for it to come to the Switch 2, or they don't have it. I guess he said like there's nothing to announce. I guess that's a little bit different. Mobile, not likely in the near future, no current plans, whereas Switch, they have nothing to announce. So I would assume the Switch 2 is at least possible at this point, but the system is so new that it's probably not something that they're actively thinking about yet, and will probably be one of the later steps that they take. If you're wondering about the Pioneer program, it is only for Xbox right now, but they are going to be developing the game to release on PlayStation 5 and PC as well, so don't worry there. Have anything to announce yet on when those other platforms will come into play, whether that be in testing or whatever, but just know that they are coming. Also, nothing for Linux. Nothing for Mac OS. And somebody asked about like performance. They're going to be targeting 60 FPS on the current gen consoles and higher frame rates, of course, on PC. Sounds like like any good game developer, they're going to be making sure that the game performs well. So basic world generation notes that I have here, the highest elevation you can build to is wide level 255. And it sounds like, they don't say here specifically, but I haven't seen any reference to a negative Y. So it seems like it might be Minecraft of old, where 0 is like that like can't pass barrier, that bedrock, so to speak. And then 255 is the highest place in which you can place a block or maybe even physically travel to. I'm not sure which of the two it is. I do hope that that's something that they expand on, maybe even pre-launch. I know, thinking back to old Minecraft, when that was your limit, it felt fine back then, but once the game expanded and added another 128 blocks vertical, both below and above, the game just the worlds had so much more depth. But we'll see how it plays and how it feels when the game actually comes out and when the alpha starts. Somebody asked about being able to customize world size, and this would be more specifically to be smaller. So maybe you don't want a 4,000 block world, maybe for whatever your reason are. It could be performance, it could just be fun gameplay. You want a smaller world. It's something that they mentioned that they want to kind of think about, but isn't something that's there currently. They do like the idea of it. And also, in case you didn't know this, but I thought I would include it, the world does loop. So even though it's a 4,000 block wide world in each direction, you don't hit a hard border like you used to in like Minecraft Console Edition. You actually can continuously loop around the world. So the world in effect kind of feels bigger in a way. Also, somebody had mentioned about how it felt like there was too much water, like all the screenshots and video, there seemed like a lot of ocean and land masses divided up by water. They've acknowledged this is something that they are aware of, and it's something that they're actually working on just to try to like fine tune the land generation and to also have like better blending between biomes to make things transition from one biome to another a lot better, rather than the current system does that a lot by water. So all three of these next ones that have to do with building and sculpting blocks kind of all relate to each other. Basically, right now, I think there is 5. I saw it somewhere. There's 5 like sculpting shapes that you can do to blocks currently. They actually started with 660. So that's a big gap. I do agree with reducing the 660 because too many options, as good as it sounds on paper, like, oh, the more options, the better. I think too many options is a bad thing. So they're at 5 right now, and they want to gradually introduce more to find that sweet spot in terms of like how many is good. I personally like a lower number more than a higher number, at least to start and really get a good feel for how the game like progresses in terms of like how people build and stuff. Because if you give too many like options, it erases the game's identity, I think, a little bit, and makes the building part complex for people. And that's one thing people like about Minecraft. You have one block and then you can craft a few extra blocks out of it. I like that Reforj is going beyond that. I think that's good. And the sculpting system, I think, is genius. It's amazing. I would just say I agree with them that it should start at a way lower number. And then you see if at any point people really start to ask for, I need more. I want more. Like, is that a growing consensus? And then maybe you introduce a couple, like you start to fill in a few gaps of what people aren't able to do. I would agree that I think they should keep the number pretty low. So here's like one of the biggest ones to me. This one really caught my eye because it's something I've wondered about, as it's something I like about Minecraft the most, which is like being able to build farms and automation type things. I love it, right? So somebody asked, will there be farming? And I think they were like specifically talking about the kiwi, one of the announced mobs that's a food source. They were wondering if you could farm it. Joe did say there will be farming. He couldn't confirm the kiwi, but it's likely. But they're not currently developing those types of systems yet. To me, this is a great sign, because one thing I worry about with games that try to be in this genre is they give everything to you too easily and automated. You build a station and you put a kiwi at it, and it just automatically generates the stuff that the kiwi can drop. So I'm hoping, and it looks like potentially they're going to go more of the Minecraft route, where like, hey, like here's your game mechanics and here's some stuff that you can do for automation, and then figure it out. I really like that. I think it adds a lot to the gameplay loop, and this kind of confirms that a little bit too. Somebody asked if there's going to be a redstone and Reforj, custom mechanisms, automating tasks, kind of goes to like the aura portion that we talked about earlier. It's not in the game yet, but it's something they've discussed. And I think even more so, it sounds like it's something that's going to definitively be in the game in some capacity. We'll just have to see how far they go with it. So I found this one interesting. No real information here, but somebody asked, are there going to be multiple dimensions or bosses to defeat? Somebody here mentioned like, well, how about the Tunneler Scout? Tunneler Scout also has like a Tunneler King. And Joe just gave the like thinking emoji. I like this. I would love to see this direction. One thing that I think makes games like this fun are some good optional rewarding content where you do have some challenges of defeating bosses and harder fights and things of that nature. So I hope to see them go this route as well. And if somebody else made a post about like mob variants, like kind of like Minecraft's doing recently, where you have different types of mobs that are the same mob, but they look different, maybe, or even could be different sizes or shapes, or look differently in certain ways based on what biome that they generate in or spawn in. Joe said that they would love to do this. So maybe something that we'll see in the future is you'll see variants of Kibi and variants of the Tunneler Scout, maybe, or other mobs. So that's going to be really cool. It's been asked about modding a lot. Basically, they're too early on. They haven't discussed it. They want to get a good core game together first before modding, whether it be official through some type of tool system that they make, or maybe unofficial akin to like Java Edition, where people can just are free to access the game files to do whatever they want. I didn't copy this in, but somebody asked about the EULA, like, will it allow for modding? And they haven't even gotten as far as deciding what is and is not going to be allowed in the EULA in terms of like specifics. So we'll just have to see. We don't know at this point. And last but not least, a little bit I found about like audio/communication. Somebody's asking about proximity chat, which I love. Like voice chat, it's 2025. Like voice chat, I think just needs to be built into any game that's going to like have any level of multiplayer. And proximity chat, I think, is even better and cooler. Oh, and then the person also asked like, well, what if like even more so if you're doing like proximity chat, if like you're in a cave and like add an echoey sound to the way somebody's voice sounds or whatever like that. So Joe said he loved the idea generally, including the voice changing thing in environments is something they're going to discuss. I would lean heavy on, at the very least, a like per world, per realm, per server, or friends based voice chat of some type, because I have a 12 and 13-year-old kid myself, and them growing up playing Minecraft for multiplayer has been the biggest headache. It's really annoying to like get them to be able to play with their friends, because games like this require a lot of communication, and they were never able to communicate. So they just never played Minecraft with their friends. It wasn't fun like it was to play Fortnite and other stuff with their friends where they're in voice chat and they get to have a good time. So Joe, if you hear this, definitely voice chat generally. I would definitely lean heavy into the immersiveness of a proximity chat. For those that get concerned about like, kids and things like that playing the game, I share your concern. I think a good like parental control system and a level of control in the menus would be really nice, where you could have it on or off. You could have it friends of friends, or everybody, or and then maybe even like a parental password thing, to where, if I had a young kid that I don't want to just be able to talk to anybody, I could pop in there and turn it to where he can only talk to his friends or something. Like that would be great as well. Anyways, that's all the news information I have right now. Pre-alpha starts in 5 days from the time I'm recording this, but I would go ahead, whether you see this before then or after, still sign up for pre-alpha access, because while they're only starting with 512 people, it sounds like they're going to expand that probably on a regular basis. So use my referral code down below, go to the link down below, sign up for pre-alpha access so you can get on and test Reforj and see all the cool stuff. And I'll be sure to bring you guys gameplay, news, information, and all sorts of things that I find out if and when I get into the pre-alpha as well. And who knows, maybe we even do a Let's Play series right from the start, right from the rip. We'll see. I haven't decided that yet, but thank you guys so much. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.